Good evening, race fans, and welcome to One Hub Season 18 Prospect Tier for round number 4 here in the wonderful Belgium Spa-Francorchamps, brought to you by Next Level Racing, Elium RBS, 3M Sim Racing, partnered with Vespertine and ERT in collaboration with Time to Print. I'm your commentator, Peter Niding, and joined with me is someone new once again. It is a One Hub driver for points tier, if I'm correct. It's
Podium tier, but we'll
podium
gloss over
tier.
that.
We'll get it right. It's Sullivan Lewis with me today, also known as Speed Risky.
Yeah, it's going to be a interesting race.
That's your favourite
Quite
word.
lucky to be sat here. It is my favourite word. Lucky to be sat here getting to watch one before I have to shoot off before the end of today to actually race him on, but maybe give me a bit of an advantage later.
Yeah, you could have a look at a little bit of the strategies, racecraft, tyre wear. Two stop, as always, round here in One Hub. We've got the championship standings that I'm going to go through while we wait to start the session. So after last week's win for Zach Jarvis, he gets himself up to 4th place after 2 starts. Liam was our championship leader, holds position, but the gap to 2nd place of Kinjan in the Williams now is just 7 points, with him securing back-to-back podiums for Williams. Craig Senna is in 3rd, 14 points behind 2nd, so it's looking at a 2-horse race at the moment. Still a long way to go in the championship. Craig Senna, One Hub Premium in 3rd, Zach Jarvis in 4th. Both Red Bulls doing a stellar job in the championship. 5th is Jake Combs, BWT Racing with 19 points. Ways One Hub Premium with 19 points as well. RES Adam, after a stellar performance, after two not very strong results. RES Adam gets himself on 18 points, up to 7th. ERT driver F1 Bazza is in 8th with 18 points. Fozzie Bear in the Mercedes is 9th with 16 points. TJW had a amazing China, got pole position, and managed to try and hold on for a top 5 finish. TJ is now 10th with 12 points. New Mercedes driver MCFC 2020 is showing his pace with a strong finish, securing 10 points. Primeval is in 12th. Alex Lilliard, One Hub Racing Premium driver, in 13th with 6. Reverend Daniels, the other McLaren, with 5 points. CPI Storm looked strong in the race in China. Unfortunately, with a bit of damage between himself and Liam, was unable to get a strong points paying position. Has 5 points in 15th. Indecisive with 2 points in 16th. Jess Gamer, One Hub Racing Premium driver, as well as Indecisive in 17th with 1 point. Cetis Demon with 1 point, and Pavo Stereogram, 2 drivers yet to score points in the championship. In terms of constructors, Mercedes still lead the way. That strong performance from Astronaut before getting promoted keeps Mercedes on top with a gap of 14 points. For Red Bull have overtaken Ferrari. Maybe Countback should slide Ferrari ahead, with it, considering they have 2 wins compared to the Red Bull's 1. The 48 points are for Red Bull and Ferrari. Williams not too far behind with 40 points. Alpha Tauri with 31. Renault with 23. Racing Point with 20. Alfa Romeo with 18. McLaren 14. And Haas at the back with 8 points. I see a bit of rain, Risky.
It is indeed raining. That's spiced things up.
Spice things up here in qualifying, indeed. Do we have a dry race? Anyone watching who is racing, please let me know in chat and I'll be able to see. At the moment, it looks like it's going to be a full wet quali. I'll get all your stats and dats up for everyone to
Intermediates
see.
for the couple of drivers out in the minute with Bazza and Liam as we go around this 7-kilometre circuit. 19 corners, 10 to the left, 9 to the right. It's a 22-lap race with 2 DRS zones. Now, if this race is wet, those DRS zones will be pretty pointless It will just come down to raw pace. This track, being at the length that it is, does mean that drivers have to be consistent and on the pace all the time. One little mistake will put you back, but that doesn't mean you're out of the race.
That was very good, Risky. I enjoyed that. Yeah, the drivers have been briefed for this track. Risky's already described most of the unique parts, but there's a lot of unique corners here in Belgium. You've got the uphill Rouge Radion complex of corners leading onto the Camel Straight down towards Les Combes. You've also got Pouon, which we're on board with Baza going through now. Very tricky section to avoid the curbs, especially in these conditions. You get a bit of wheel spin, you'll be flying into the barrier. Final section is quite fast flowing. You've got Stavelot, and then on the run down towards Blanchemont, and then you've got the heavy braking zone of the bus stop to round out your lap. What sort of lap time do you think will dry up, Risky? What sort of lap times are we looking for in intermediate?
Well, looking at the weather and the clouds, from all I could see, it just looks like it will stay like this. Now, from previous experiences, wet qualies like this don't tend to spice up the field quite well. They don't tend to be consistent. So there might be a quick time, might be a slow time. In terms of lap time, I'm thinking somewhere we'll be in the 50s, maybe high 50s.
Yeah.
Depending on the rain.
Yeah, you don't think we were breaking 2 minutes with intermediate conditions. We've already got 2 retirees, Indecisive and Demon 20, both out of the session already. I think the yellow flag is for the Haas of Indecisive. He's lost it up Eau Rouge and Radion. These tricky conditions already catching a few drivers out. Baza, so far, nice and clean down the Camel Straight towards Les Combes.
It's going to be an interesting one to see, like the likes of a few of the quicker drivers. See if they can actually put their car on pole, or see if you're going to look to people like Jess or somebody that's a little bit low key, a little bit under the radar that might just come through in these wet conditions, in the qualifying especially.
Just a quick review of stewarding from last week's Chinese Grand Prix. In this tier, Waze, our AlphaTauri driver, received a 5-second penalty for weaving it on the straight. That is the only penalty received from last week. It caused Baza to DNF on the DRS straight down towards the hairpin. It caught Baza out. He clipped the rear end and speared himself into the wall uncontrollably. Waze receiving a 5-second for that. In terms of the driver's press conference, our new driver has been asked, are you feeling at home in a new driver of MCFC 2020 has been asked, are you feeling more at home in this tier after being brought back down to replace Astronaut? Did we get a response? I hope so. Yeah, he's feeling more confident and hope to have better results in the next few weeks. Yeah, he showed his pace in China, and at the moment, no one has set a time. People probably invalidating. There's our first time on the board. You said a high 150, Risky, and that's quite close to the 2 minutes.
I feel like as the session goes on, providing the rain doesn't come down too much, that time, yeah, as we see already, look, that time getting beaten. So maybe, I'm going to say 53.2, maybe around that sort of 53 mark, because all just depends on the weather towards the end of the session. Can confirm we have a dry race from one of the drivers in chat, so providing it stays dry the whole race and it's not a safety car field race, will be an interesting one. 2-stop round here can favour some drivers. Sometimes it's not the best. It just depends on safety cars, VSCs, and obviously the nature of the track being so long. Getting lapped around here is not necessarily normal, we'll say.
Yeah, you got to be really unlucky to get yourself lapped around. At the moment, the longest track on the F1 calendar, soon to be replaced by Saudi Arabia, I believe, for the longest track.
Indeed. AlphaTauri of TJW.
He's out after setting a time. That's you said the pit straight. Did he crash in the pits? I'm not too sure. He set a time of 56.6. all these lap times are varied. Everyone just getting used to the conditions. 53 from Zach Jarvis, last week's race winner, with a 53.7, second ahead of Reverend Daniels. But as you said, Liam set a 59 as Pavo has retired from the Grand Prix. Original Radion has claimed another victim in this qualifying session. He had flags in sector 2 for, I believe, it's just a slow Mercedes. Yeah, that lap time from Liam was a 59. He's already improved to a 54. Just shows he was just getting used to the conditions. But King Jen, second place in the championship, One Hub Racing Premium driver, looks to be starting a lap. At the moment, his provisional first time is a 57, but he's set a 56.3, 7 tenths improvement. So it's just a few warm-up laps, getting used to the conditions. A lot of time to be found.
A lot of drivers will be doing multiple laps, I feel, on these tyres as well, just to, because you get 2 sets of inters, don't you? So I feel like a few drivers, especially looking down, seeing already 2 laps going to start creeping up to 3 and 4, providing they put the fuel in and then go for a fast one at the end.
Indeed. We're just going to run through our hot and cold for this race week for Prospect Tier. Our hot is the Williams driver we're on board with now, King Jen. Can't stay off the podium these days. Could be a new title favourite. He could indeed. Gap to Liam is just 7 points with 6 rounds to go. Cold driver is indecisive. Started off positively. He's obviously had cold tyres this qualifying session. Unable to set a lap time. But through no fault of his own, has gone backwards with the previous week, but will be keen to get back into the points again this week. He's got a lot of work to do in the race. As we know, points aren't paid out in qualifying. You could start on pole and finish last if the race doesn't go in favour of you. Rivalries. We've got Waze and Craig Senna. Had a lot of dislike towards each other last time out, but neither really proved why the other was guilty, both incurring a formal warning for their conduct outside the track. Waze was asked, why do you think he blames you for last week's incident, even though neither of you submitted any proof? Waze did not get a response to us, keeping us in the dark there. And Craig was asked, although Waze admitted he was to blame for this incident with Bazza, why were you convinced you did nothing wrong towards him, but didn't send footage to the stewards? No response from either driver for the rivalries.
Both drivers keeping it on track so far. So let's see how it happens this race. See if Waze gets himself a bit closer. That might be an interesting battle to watch. Craig Senna in 8th, Waze in at 15th on a lap, I believe, at the minute after invalidating his first. Zach Jarvis holding the pole time with a 53.7. Yep, invalidation from Waze there.
He's going to be fuming, though, that. He's going to be fuming.
55.4 that would have been.
P6.
Done a couple of laps. Yep, done a couple of laps on those tyres, so there's still 8 minutes left in the session, so if he comes back in, gets into the pits, fresh set of tyres on maybe, take a bit of fuel out, and then see where he can go from there.
Yeah, he left it late in China, managed to slap himself towards the front. Showed some great pace in China, but unfortunately the result didn't come his way, with a 10th place in China, scoring 3 points for Alpha Tauri. He loves leaving it late. He can't finish this lap either. I'd box, even if he's not low on fuel. I'd box, put a fresh set of tyres on. You've done 2 laps. Yes, you're probably not starting on them, but as the track gets a little bit more grippier, people are used to the conditions, fresher tyres, lower fuel load, he'll be challenging for that top 5.
I've been watching Reverend Daniel just as he started this lap, and he's got the car nailed on through the first couple of corners, and he's just gone purple sector 1, so how reliable that is,
I will check.
Pretty confident it is, but yeah,
we have a good friend Tass. We have a good friend Tass.
Actually, I need to check that. I got my dashboard sent through to me, so first time commentating in One Hub. All this new task system got to get used to. But what a absolutely brilliant little tool it is. So well done to the creator.
Yeah, it's very useful as well. You said a 31.9. That is not purple. He's 0.2 slower than our pole sitter, Zach. Zach has fastest first and third sector. A little bit slower in the second sector compared to Liam, but on track has the 0.5 advantage from pole to second. Anyone else improving? I believe this will be an improvement for Reverend Daniels. He doesn't need to find a lot of time to feign the position. As podium sitter last week, yes, Adam shows his wet pace with a P2 at the moment. Where does this McLaren put himself? It goes third, 54.0, very close to beating Adam's time, who was set moments before. Liam, however, knocked down off the front row with those 2 lap times. He's in the pits, got a fresh set of tyres. These drivers will do another outlap. Or maybe even go again, depending on how much fuel they've got. Excuse me.
5:30 left in the session, so you're looking at, if drivers are on a lap now, they'll struggle to get back round again. So people that are on in laps will probably get another run in. People that are on laps won't get a second run in unless they're extremely quick and consistent. Because it's 1:53, so you need at least 3.5-4 minutes to get an outlap. And
sorry, I had him in the wall. He's got wing damage on the front left. Just caught it on stream. Where are we on track? Puon, I mentioned the curve. I believe he touched the inside curve, speared into the wall. No retirement from the session, but can he recover back to the pits to get that wing changed? 4:45 left. You say yourself, you want about 2 minutes for your outlap. You might need longer because of the wet conditions. This is going to be a slow in-lap now for Adam. Currently on the front row. What have you seen, Risky Ass? Is that a
Mercedes of VXI MCFC's gone round and is stuck at the top of the hill. And while Adam hit the wall, I think it was Jake that lost it at Blanchimont. So we've lost Jake. VXI keeps it out of the wall, but that's going to hinder his lap as he's just started his quick one.
Okie dokie, everyone pushing their limits, trying to find that extra time. Lap time, even just a 0.5 could slide you between a couple of drivers, but the field is quite separated between lap times that have been set. 4.5 seconds between P1 and P15. Yellow flag sector 3. This will be Adam making his way back to the pits. A lot of drivers on outlaps, a lot of drivers on fast.
This is going to be an interesting fight. I think the top 3 separated by 3 and a little bit tenths. I feel like if they get a good lap in, you can find some time in the wet. Just depends. If the track's got wetter and people are struggling more, this will be interesting. Just on board with Waze, he's got 4 lap hold inters on, and he's just struggling through Puon down into 5th, and just couldn't keep the car in a straight line. Well,
he's invalidated again.
Keep the car on track.
I think his qualifying may be over. He's not even on the run through Blanchimont, and there's 3 minutes to go. It takes about 45 seconds for you entering the pit lane for your car to be serviced, and you're able to get back out. I don't think Waze is going to have enough time to do an outlap and get a run in. At the moment, he sits P5 with a 54.3. He took the risk not pitting and just setting a benchmark, really. He put himself in the top 5, 4,000ths quicker than Baza. Little 2 coming together in China. Quickly, as the qualifying ends, a lot of people are going to be on outlaps, a lot of people on fast. Please keep an eye on them, Risky, and let me know if anyone's lighting up the screens on your end as I go through the pre-race interviews quickly. I believe the questions were: how many times will we see a victim at Rally on this week? Is this a track you'll do well at? Rain completely changes the characteristics of the track, as we've seen already in this qualifying session. Is there something that concerns you? Obviously with the rain. Is qualifying less important here to the nature of the track, with more overtaking opportunities? And are you happy to be back in the European tracks now? Let's see if we can grab ourselves a driver from this tier who has answered the questions. Liam, our championship leader, has answered the questions. How many victims do we see at Rally? I'm not sure. I don't think many people will fall victim. Let's get him on board. Don't want to be sitting with Wade in the pits. Is it a track that Liam will do well at? Yeah, he likes this track, so hopefully a good result is on the cards. He needs it after last week's little fumble. Alternate strategy didn't really pay off for him. Did Liam, starting on the mediums and finishing on softs. Medium softs was his strategy. Rain completely changes the character's track. He doesn't mind the rain, so it's not a massive concern. At the moment, it's not caused much of an issue in qualifying. Is qualifying less important? It's less important. I'd say qualifying is still important, but race pace is crucial to stay out of reach of everyone else. Keynote as well for these drivers is the pit lane is one of the shortest on the calendar. It may be the longest track on the calendar, but it's got one of the shortest pit lanes for a pit stop. I think it's about 16 to 18 seconds with no wing change, a smooth, slick 2.6 second tyre change. So undercuts could be very key, and safety cars, especially VSCs, could be very crucial if any come out. Final question: are you happy to be back in the European tracks? For Liam, I'm happy to be. He is out of China. That track is awful at the best of times. He wasn't a big fan, as proven with his race result. Still finished though. Let's see what he can do here in Belgium.
Just been watching. I was on board with him for a lot of that lap, and he backed off to go again. So I'm just going to assume he's on one. Nobody going purple in any sectors. So that makes me think the track is not drying up at all and is in fact a little bit more wet than before.
A lot of people invalidating their lap times. One person who's down on his time by about 3 seconds is our provisional pole man. I don't think anyone's going to be improving. Reverend Daniels, purple middle sector, he's half a second up after the second sector. Reverend Daniels in the McLaren is flying. He's on his way towards Blanchimont. He's derated a little bit too early. He's not going to have that extra energy power boost through this final section. Half a second up, will snatch pole position if he can keep it clean through the bus stop. Round the final couple of corners he goes. Get on the traction nice and early, trying not to get any wheel spin up towards the line. Is this pole position? It is indeed from Reverend Daniels. He snatches pole positions from last week's race winner Zach Jarvis, proving a point in that Red Bull. A tenth and a half just separates the two of them. That EOS dropped down a little bit, lost a little bit of time in that final sector, but he kept it nice and clean and snatches pole position. Anyone else on a run? I think that is qualifying over. CPI Storm is improving possibly.
What a lap though from the McLaren driver. Absolutely. I said it at the start. He just nailed his car to the track, especially through that middle sector. So must be running relatively low wings as well.
Yeah, you want to be running lowish wings. Storm P10.
P10 with a 55 flat.
And that is qualifying over. What do you make of that, Risky? Or Sully? Or however we're going to call it. I'm so used to calling you Risky. It's when you talk to the same person and use their nickname for, what is it, like 2 years? 1 or 2 years?
Yeah, just over.
It gets...
Just stuck in. Everybody calls me Risky. I'm Risky to most or Sully to a few. That qualifying, though, really did surprise me. The rain didn't come. The rain came heavier at the end than it did at the start. And Reverend Daniel still managed to get that lap out. Because at the start it was light rain and it just sort of transitioned, even slightly. And the McLaren driver has pulled one out of the bag. I feel like this race could still be anyone's race. The fight at the top will be close. The fight in the midfield will be close. See if we get any surprise victories or surprise position gained. Obviously, with the fantasy league that one of us are doing, might be leading the top off by a few points.
That's a good plug.
Throw that one in there.
That's a good plug. I keep forgetting about the fantasy thing. It's something quite unique that this league includes. Obviously, you've got the real form F1 fantasy that goes on during the real F1 season. These taking the advantage of using the concept of that. Nice and bright and sunny here in Spa. With a wet qualifying session, tyre choice is going to be very interesting. 2-stop round here. I've done 2-stop round here one too many times in the past. So you know it's soft, medium, soft. If you want to start aggressively, you can do medium, soft, soft. If you want to start on the alternate strategy, safety cars may play a part due to the nature of the track. A lot of side-by-side action, a lot of fast-flowing corners where drivers will want to take advantage of other people's mistakes. I didn't get a chance to run through qualifying at the end. Risky was doing a nice overview of qualifying at the end, which was nice to hear. We'll run through the order and we'll run through tyre choices of our 19, 20 drivers on the grid.
Indeed, we will. Predictions. Start this race. You followed precision. Been in this tier since the start. So what you saying? What you thinking?
It's difficult now because every single race you see something new. You see someone else has got different paces at different tracks. Obviously, Zach improved a point last week after joining Red Bull. He starts on the front row this week. He did have a slightly poor qualifying. I think it was P6 he started in China, but he managed to make up those positions to get pole. Let's have a look at these tyres then. Drivers to watch, really. Obviously, Liam Championship leader, King Jen in 5th, 2nd place in the Championship. We've got Craig Senna down in 9th, Zach Jarvis in 2nd. Red Bull at the moment doing better than Mercedes in the constructors. If it was to finish as it was, I'm sure Red Bull would leapfrog, maybe even leapfrog Mercedes. But I think he said MCFC retired in qualifying, so he's going to be a surprise package. TJW, highlight from last week, missed out from my driver today by the smallest of margins. May have the pace. Pavo and Indecisive disqualified already, going to have cold tyres. Let's get these tyres up. So, the top 9, everyone in the top 9 starting on the softs, going aggressive at the start. CPI Storm and Jake W. Combs on mediums in the 10th and 11th. Then you've got Alex, MCFC, TJW and Jess, Pavo and Indecisive all starting on the softs, with Demon at the back going for the alt strat as well. So it's only 3 drivers thinking the alt strat's going to work. Maybe a lot of these soft runners are expecting a early safety car. You can suggest that this is an easy 1 stop in normal conditions where you don't have to do 2 stops. Soft, medium, medium, soft. So those soft runners give themselves the opportunity to pit earlier if the safety car comes and be on the same strategy as be on a strategy ahead of a lot of drivers.
Yeah, like you say, this race is a 1 stop normally, so a soft, medium, soft at the end, or even a soft, medium, is going to be a quick race for all these drivers, especially if the drivers don't get a safety car. Those starting on mediums will have 2 very quick final stints.
Something to note, if I get damage, telemetry, maybe we can see fuel. Can't see people's fuel yet. That'd be a key to know how much fuel people are putting on board their cars. You really want to go aggressive. There's a lot of places you want to be using rich mix and standard, but quite a few lean corners to keep the tyres in check and traction as we wait for the 5 red lights to come on our screen now. Here they come. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Lights out, and away we go here in Spa Prospect here. Good start from Reverend, holds the inside towards turn 1, with Zach Jarvis trying to challenge on the outside, with IS Adam in 3rd, Liam in 4th. The order's messing up a little bit, but Zach's got the better exit of turn 1 and leapfrog Devon Daniels as they head up the hill for the first time. 22 laps they've got to go up, 22 times they've got to go up there, and the run down this long Kemmel Straight is where we're going to see a lot of overtakes. Can Reverend Daniels regain P1? A side-by-side between Liam and IS Adam behind. Liam now up to 3rd. IS Adam Philippe's in the position and may lose another one to Waze. He's got a fantastic exit out of Lacombe. Now towards Russell's. A little bit of contact as he dives up the inside. He opens the door for Kingjen to pass Adam as well. Can Kingjen get both of them? There's contact between Kingjen and the Renault. Oh yes, Adam has gone sent spinning at the entry to what I like to call no name. Do we get a safety car? We do indeed. Adam got collected. Who did he get collected by? The Alpha Tauri of TJW. What a hectic first lap so far.
Indeed it was. Oh, and I've just been on board with Storm, gone right into the back of Indecisive. So there's 2 5-second penalties for the both of them. Indecisive already made up 5 places, so he won't be happy with that one.
Yeah, you're not going to be very happy if you get round to the back row of the safety car, because it's not your duty unless you brake check them. It's the duty of the car behind to be aware of the car in front. Safety cars can be a little bit glitchy, as we know. Safety car waiting at the bottom of Eau Rouge for the leaders. Anyone else going to think of a pit? There's been an overtake on the safety car. From what I can see, Bazza and Fozzie Bear. Any pit runners? Bazza does dive into the pits. He's got a bit of damage. There's more contact with the wall as Fozzie Bear makes a late lunge into the pits. He hits the wall. Wing damage for him. Zach Jarvis, race leader. Pavo has finally made his way to the pits as well. Bit of damage. Can he make it in? Don't block the pit lane. He's probably got his pit limiter on. Keep it out of the wall. Right, who pit, who didn't? TJW, even though he spun, he's got no damage. Everyone who started on the softs, except for... Wait, where's TJW on track? Oh, he's behind. Yeah, this telemetry bit is a little bit messing me up. So, drivers in the pits for mediums were... Wait, did Kingjen pit? I can't tell. Kingjen has pit.
Yeah, Kingjen
this order's really messing me up. So Kingjen has pit. I don't know. Kingjen's pit. Alex Lilliot has pit. Jess has pit. Craig Senna has pit. MCFC 2020 has pit. Zach Jarvis, our race leader, going into the end of lap 1, going to the pits as pit. Waze has gone on to hard tyres. Interesting strategy call there for Alpha Tauri. Kingjen, I think I mentioned Alex Lilliot. Fozzie Bear on hards as well. Basil on mediums. Demon, I think he started on the mediums, now on soft. Jess, Craig Senna down in 13th. Down some positions at the start. So, only 4 people decided not to pit. Our pole sitter, Reverend Daniels, feels there might be another one and he could take advantage of that. Or maybe he just didn't feel like pitting. Maybe he can stretch these tyres out a little bit longer. Doesn't want to be running on the medium tyres as long as the drivers who made their stop. That's probably why people chose the hards. More likely to stretch onto a set of softs for their second stop. Risky, 1 lap down. What are your thoughts? What you got? What's your info?
This is well, it's been a good start for some and a poor start for others. Obviously, Adam losing it and getting wiped out. Turn, I can't remember what turn it was, just before Pooh on that one. It's not going to help his chances.
I call it no name, but it does have a name. No name. It does have a name. I just don't want. I don't want to. I've got no name engraved in my head for that corner. Same as I've got the Source as turn 1. You've got O is Radian. You've got Lacombe. You've got the Camel Straight. You've got Stabilo. You've got Pouon. You've got all those corners. You've got Brussels. All those corners that are just embedded in my mind from racing around this track. No name is just the best way to call it. And a lot of people will probably... Okay, that is an interesting choice to pit now.
Gets rid of that penalty, I suppose.
He does indeed. I'm not
just
sure.
Quickly as well.
Sorry.
Talking about the starts, all right? Talking about the start of the race, you're looking at fuel. I've just got the fuel up now. Most drivers seem to have about 2.53. Waze sat on 5.10 of extra fuel.
Yeah, Waze going very aggressive then on the fuel. A driver, Alex Lilliard in the Haas, only 0.74. Fozzie Bear 0.96. But with this safety car period, all these drivers that chose low fuel at the start, Indecisive, one of those drivers as well. get a chance to recover a little bit of fuel. The drivers who started with a heavy car are going to have a little bit heavy car for the laps up and coming, so they're just saving fuel. They're going slow around the lap. But yeah, TJW choosing to make a pit stop later on. Services 5 seconds stop go, medium tyres. He'll get to about, you want to push lap 14, 15 realistically to go for a next set of softs, maybe even 15, 16. It used to be really easy to do a one stop from softs to mediums around this track. On this here in 2020, it's a little bit more difficult. I feel there's a lot more tyre wear on the softs. Maybe the C compounds are a little bit softer, but makes it a little bit more fun with strategy. It allows people to make an early pit stop if required, starting on the softs, which a lot of people took advantage of.
Just interesting as well, Pav at the bottom in the Alfa Romeo has some wing damage on his front left end plate. So he's got 38% damage, but only just got up to the back of the safety car key, which makes me wonder if he'd had a spin and gone into the wall. If the safety car comes in this lap, he won't be able to pit, which it is doing.
He can pit,
so that's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, he can pit, but he will lose time. Revan Daniels will be leading the drivers towards the bus stop. Safety car in this lap. We're going to getting ready for green flag running once again. Liam and Jake, the three of the only drivers not to make an early pit stop. So what will Revan do? Will he dive it in, or will he punch it on the exit nice and slow? He's taking the wider line to get the straighter exit, loses the back end a little, and will Liam take advantage of this restart? The drivers behind are going quite slowly behind Jake, Zach and Waze towards turn 1, then side by side between Zach and Jake. Zach being a little bit more aggressive on the restart, trying to get the move done on a driver who's on a little bit older tyres. But will they risk going side by side through Eau Rouge and Radion? Not this time. Zach gets his first quarter cut penalty of the race. We're now going to be under pressure with that poor exit catching the grass. Will Jake get him back? Change for the lead though. Revan Daniels on the inside, Liam on the outside, Zach ahead of Jake, and Jake now falling down the order with Kingjen now up to 4. Change for the lead between Liam and Revan Daniels, and then change for 3rd and 4th and 5th between Zach, Kingjen and Jake, as Waze now gets by Jake with his signature move up the inside through Brussels. Over to you, Risky.
Not a bad restart then from the top two. Liam getting the better of Revan Daniels. Waze dropped a couple of places and has made his back up. I think Jake got a slight bit of wing damage, only 6% on task, so that won't hinder him too much, but with a few lap older tyres as well, that won't help his wear. In terms in terms of C-Type, I'll just call him Demon on the softs. Doing all right. He's meant to be one of the quicker drivers now then on the softs. See if he can start getting through these medium and hard runners, but he has got Craig Senna to pass as Bazza picks up a penalty 3 seconds so through.
Oh, I think there's been an incident. There has been an incident. I caught the back end and saw drivers losing positions. VXI MCFC has got wing damage, a left end plate broken on my screen. He's going to dive into the pits. Did he have contact with Storm? He's pitting as well. Both drivers will switch, probably go for hard tyres to the end. Could stretch mediums. Could have really poor tyre wear. It looks like mediums for the Mercedes as the Renault drives by. Any more changes? TJW gets by just before Eau Rouge and Radion, making progress with that later pit stop in safety car. Pavel now up a couple of positions after CPR Storm now going on hards. MCFC go at 2020 on mediums. Those two should be going to the end. Pavel still got a 5 second to serve, but he's quite far off the pace as swap positions on the exit of the pit lane do MCFC and Storm. MCFC needed to do that quite early, to be fair to him. Is weaving, probably in frustration to maybe the contact that happened between the two of them earlier on at the end of lap 4. Safety car would probably help these guys bring themselves back into it. Strategy-wise, they've got to go to the end as Pavo has had a trip in the gravel with that wing damage. Not going well so far for the Alfa Romeo driver. Back to Waze going side by side with Jake towards Blanchimont. Oh, there's a bit of contact between the two of them. Waze is in the wall. Maybe the driver's could have left a bit more space. You can go side by side, but you have to take into account the speed of the driver on the inside is going to take, or the outside. If the driver on the inside takes a bit more speed, that's going to cause the damage and contact, which we've seen. Waze in the wall, Waze with wing damage. A lot of W's in there.
Waze, wing damage in the wall.
What more do you want? We won't laugh.
Actually,
Waze gets a lot of bad luck sometimes. He's got the pace. Sometimes there's a few mistakes he needs to iron out, and it's showing at the moment.
Backwards in sector 2. Storm also had an off at Blanchimont, so that's 2 yellow flags. Potential safety car. No, both drivers going again. Just looking at tyre wear on TAS, Reverend Daniels' tyres are at 40% wear already, so he is struggling a little bit, not too much, but Zach Jarvis is in the box seat at the minute, only 3 seconds just over behind Liam. Liam has to pit twice, Zach Jarvis once, so this is still between Zach Jarvis, King, and even Jake, depending on safety cars, of course. We're only on lap 6.
You might have to discount Jake, maybe just because of that extra stop. Bazza currently sitting net P3. Redemption time for the ERT driver in Alfa Romeo. Net P3 at the moment. Ahead of the Haas of Alex Lilliard, who's yet to prove himself on the track this season. Not bursting his bubble, but a few poor results in Haas. They're currently last in the standings. He's picking up a bit of grass there on the run through Blanchimont. He's got Craig Senna all over the back of him as Zach Jarvis gets to second. Reverend Daniels in the pits. Liam also. Zach Jarvis retakes lead.
So the lead two both come in at the same time, neither going for an undercut, neither going for an overcut. Oh, and that's Alex Lilliard on the outside, Craig Senna on the inside, and I just caught the end of that. It looks like Craig Senna got squeezed into the wall a little bit there, hit the wall and bounced sideways. Looking for the ghosting system, he wasn't collected, but that's going to be big damage to the right hand side of his car and the left hand side of his car. 25% and 12%.
Yeah, we can only see the 25% on screen, but it was very squiggly up Eau and Radion. You need as much downforce as you want to go flat up there, and with half your front wing missing, it's going to be a crawl back to the pits now. Got the damage so early on. Trying to take advantage and trying to not be number 2 driver anymore, because Zach Jarvis may look like he could secure back-to-back wins. But King Gen, same as last week, in second place. Well, battling for a podium, should I say. No penalties at the moment. It's within that 3-second window of Zach. Looking on for a challenger race win. Excuse me, sorry.
Definitely
a long
possible.
day. Definitely possible, yeah. As Bazza and Lilia have now secured themselves some penalties. In terms of position change, as TJW gets by Demon. Demon up to 8th. Very great start for him. Starting to lose a few positions. But what's happening is the whole field is starting to crumble around him, and he's getting promoted up 10 at the moment. Could be looking at securing his first points of the season. I believe so.
Bazza on the back of Jake through turn 1, had the DRS down the pit straight. Bit of a poor exit, so might not be close enough this time. Somebody that is close is Fozzie Bear on the back of Alex Lilliard, so there's 2 to watch for. Bazza always going to have to cut the top of Raddy on there. Fozzie Bear gets it nice though on the back of Alex Lilliard. See if he gains and closes. He's gaining. He's moved to the left, around the outside. Get the move done before the corner. Alex Lilliard not fighting too hard.
Great move from Fozzie Bear, taking advantage of those hard tyres, interesting, compared to Alex Lilliard's mediums. No damage for Lilia. It was just a poor exit of Radion.
Indeed, it was. Been looking at lap times as well for the top two. Pretty consistent lap times. Both set 47.8 on that last lap. And obviously we'll see when they come across the line on this lap how close it's been. But at the minute, keeping similar time, 1.4, 1.5. Stronger third sector. Saying that, Zach Jarvis did go a little bit wide. I'm going to keep my mouth shut because I don't want to curse them.
You don't want to curse him. Banner's in the wall. Bazza is in the wall. You didn't mention his name, did you? He was on for a podium. But I don't think he's got any damage. He spun it at Puon, I think. Or he spun it through the first part of Stavalo. That little tricky chicane. After... Let's get his corners right. After Puon. No damage from what I can see. What's TAS telling us?
Nothing on TAS. Yep, nothing on TAS. So only driver with damage at the minute is Pav down in 17th, apart from the very small 6% for Jake, but that might not hinder him too much, as Liam now looking to get past TJW. See if we'll do it into turn 1. Probably will wait and go along the Camel Straight.
Yeah, it's very sensible for drivers not to be hasty with moves into turn 1, realising that you get that a longer straight, a faster run on the driver ahead. Oh, it's a little bit twitchy for Liam, but he should get this move done. What's the EOS looking between the two? TJW has got a lot to use, but he's not using any. Liam to the inside, fastest man on track at the moment, takes P6 from TJW as Jess gets by Indecisive. Indecisive has had an accident at Eau Rouge. That's twice in one day for Indecisive. Look at it, it's no DNF for this time. He's still in the points, but he's going to have a long run to end his lap to get back in the pits. VSC, as you mentioned, drivers got to slow down to Delta. This will help a lot of the drivers that had to who decided to pit early to stretch their medium tyres, such as Alex, Zach Jarvis, your race leader, Kingjin. Jake yet to make his first stop, 8-lap mediums. He'll be looking for his first stop probably at the end of this lap or maybe next, because they could easily do 2 stops.
Yeah, exactly. And somebody that won't like this VSC as we go green now will probably be, I was going to say Kingju because he was closing in, but he seems to have gained a little bit, so I'll take that back. He's actually got himself a bit closer, but Liam on his fresh mediums absolutely flying as well, so he could still be in contention. He's not that far behind.
Alex making moves, wanted to get that position back on Fuzzy Bear. Fuzzy Bear, one of the drivers who picked up a drive-through as the safety car ended. Fuzzy Bear to serve it at the moment. He's on hard tyres. Hopefully they don't do another pit stop. How many has he done? 1. This should be his drive-through being served. But yeah, Kingjin taking advantage of the Delta. A lot of people don't want to risk it because the Delta can be quite tricky, especially going into corners and exit of corners. Yellow flag sector 3. Is that Pavo? It's gone now, but there was a yellow flag. I can see an Alfa Romeo and a Haas down there. But yeah, Kingjin now out of that 1 second window of Zach. Needs to get back in it to get the DRS. Fuzzy Bear comes out the pits. We overtakes Jess.
Oh, Bazza down the inside of TJ at the end of the Kowal straight. Just not enough room for him, and round he goes. Avoided the wall, so no damage again. But that's 2 spins in 2 laps. Bazza's not had the best of luck in the past couple of laps. He was on for a good result as well. Anything is still possible as a VSC again.
That'll be for that spin. Was it a late lunge from Bazza? Was he just caught on the inside?
I think he was just caught on the inside. I caught the end of it. They weren't fully side by side as far as I saw, but obviously if Bazza feels it was a move that he was going for that was on, then stewards will be contacted.
We go green again. CPI Storm. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry, CPI Storm retired as well. Yeah, drive-through for Craig Senna. Craig Senna got the drive-through this time. There's the only name I saw pop up. Who else has got one?
The XI ahead of him has one, as well as another yellow flag in sector 2. That's for Pavo. Just going slowly round corner with a bit of wing damage. Well, quite a bit of wing damage actually to his both end plates, should I say.
Reverend Daniels quick note, our pole sitter down in 7th. In terms of pit stops, 1 stop. Fresher tyres and everyone ahead except for Liam. Not making any progress as well as Liam. Liam about 3-4 seconds ahead. Reverend Daniels also has 11 seconds worth of penalties. 11 seconds, so 2 track limits and maybe a speeding in the pit lane as Zach gets his second penalty of the race. Yellow flags again. Is that Pavo in sector 2? Not having a great day for Pavo at the moment. But yeah, two penalties for Zach Jarvis. Track limits not being his friend.
Kingdon has fresher tyres by a little bit. He's kept his tyres alive by that little bit. Maybe this is why we're seeing them start to struggle. Remember, they have to make another stop. It'd be early to make a stop to softs, but a stop for mediums would probably suffice, if they need to.
Yeah, you mentioned the tyre wear on TAS. Freshest tyres on anyone goes to Indecisive down in 15th, but in terms of the top 7, I'd say, in terms of fresh tyres, Liam has the freshest as he gets by Alex Lilliart before Blanchamont. Taking advantage of these fresher tyres compared to Lilliart's on 40% nearly all round, with the front right being 34. Half as the tyres are half as worn on Liam's compared to the rest of the field. King Gen managing his tyres very well in second. Zach's retired. What has Zach done?
What has Zach died at Radion.
What has Zach done? I've just seen it. I was just looking at TAS. He is gone. He is out. He has retired from this Grand Prix. King Gen now race leader. Will we get a safety car for that? I'm not sure where he's lost it. He's lost it at the top. He was running clean away. Well, he did have a bit of pressure from King Gen with his penalties. Zach Jarvis, after taking race victory last week, is out here in Spa as we go green again in that sector. King Gen now has provisional race lead with a humongous gap of 9 seconds from Jake, who's still yet to pit. Jake, please pit. Please pit for softs and do 2 softs. Otherwise, you're just going to lose a lot more positions. Sorry, go.
With Pavo, do you want to have a look at the tyres he's on?
We won't talk about that. We won't talk about what tyres he is
moving on. That's Liam had a spin.
This championship is getting ripped wide open. Zach Jarvis looking for back-to-back wins to slide his way towards the top of the standings. And Liam, our championship leader, has had a spin. Damage for Liam is negative on the damage for Liam, but his tyres are a little bit more worn now. Not as fresh as Reverend Daniels. And we've got some work to do. VSC, Liam takes advantage, pits. Jake taking advantage of this VSC as well. I think he might have already been in the pits before the VSC was called. He's heard my call of boxing this lap. He's done 12 laps on those medium tyres. He's going to be running softs all the way to the end. He needs to remember he's got to do 2, otherwise he may get disqualified. He's had the full pit lane to do his VSC and comes out in P5. Liam may get full advantage of this as well. Cars on his left coming round turn 1. His teammate Jess won't get in the way, but he's getting in the way of Waze as we go green once again. Waze getting the jump on Jess towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Waze now on a charge. He's made all his stops. He's got to take these tyres to the end. It's going to be a long way for him to go with every driver in front of him probably going to have fresher tyres. But good strategy call from Liam to take advantage of the pit stop with his spin. He has gone on mediums. He doesn't think he can take softs to the end. Mediums to the end for Liam, whereas the drivers of King Gen, Alex, TJW and Reverend will be looking at going softs at the end. Reverend applying a lot of pressure on TJ as Waze picks up another 3 second time penalty that puts his tally to 6. A lot of drivers keeping it within the limits, and that's where their advantage is going to come if a late safety car is brought out. But Reverend Daniels, fresher tyres compared to TJ. TJ has not that much worn tyres, about 10% difference on the rears, with Reverend's being fresher. The fronts are quite similar in terms of percentage, no damage for either driver. In terms of EOS, Alex Lilliard in the box seat, not using a lot of it, with 100% for himself and TJW, who pit as well.
This is going to put Liam into probably 3rd place, maybe 2nd if he gets ahead of Alex here, which he will. So Liam in net 2nd, as that's indecisive, I think, had a spin. Yeah, indecisive. 2nd sector. But a full safety car. A full course caution as our final safety car of the race on lap 14.
Is it final one? Have we had 5? We could still get another, but the laps are running out. Drive-through for spinning on the safety car for Craig Senna again. He had an opportunity to get back into this Grand Prix with getting a drive-through on a VSC earlier on. He now gets another one. His opportunity to get himself back in this Grand Prix has now been shattered, because he will have to serve that when the safety car comes in. But this is great news for our 2 leaders of Kingdon and Reverend Daniels. Not so good news that he's got 11 seconds of penalties, but he will be serving that 5-second stop-go in the pits this lap when he comes in. He should pit. Both drivers should take advantage of the safety car, especially Kingdon, with a gap of 22 seconds to P2. He could make 2 pit stops if he wanted to in the time it would take the drivers to get back round, but unfortunately the safety car will be waiting for him on the exit of turn 1. He does pit. Tyre choice though, probably softs, more than likely softs. Reverend Daniels probably do the same, soft tyres. Jake, if I were you as well, take advantage. You may take advantage of the safety car and box. You lose less time. You've got an 11-second gap to Liam. I'd recommend boxing. Does he box? He does. Very sensible from our Racing Point driver. Liam, however, 11 seconds was the gap. I said it's about 18 seconds full green flag running for a pit stop. Jake probably wouldn't have to do a wing change. There's that 5-second. Revan's may lose the position. Soft tyres. Yeah, Liam now goes up to net P2. Kingdon on the softs, leading this Grand Prix, no penalties. Liam in 2nd, no penalties on mediums. Alex Lilliard not thinking softs could go to the end on mediums himself. TJW on softs, Reverend Daniels on softs, Jake on softs. Then you got Bazza making a recovery at the moment in P7, with Fozzie Bear in the first and the leading at Mercedes, where he's in 9th, coming out the pits for fresh mediums. Not sure why he didn't go softs, but he will be going aggressive every lap, pushing in those qualifying runs, as will Jess on fresh softs, with Demon in the pits as well. Comes out. Will he get out ahead of the Mercedes? He will. Mercedes should hold back. And at the moment, Demon looking to get himself into a nice, strong points-paying position here in Spa.
TJW as well has wing damage after pitting, so he must have knocked his front wing somewhere, because he has 38% wing damage, which is visible to us on stream. So he will have Reverend Daniels right behind him unless he pits again.
He may pit. He may pit. Just looking at the gaps, he probably won't know the gaps of a lot of the drivers behind. The train isn't that large. There will be another safety car lap, at least, because we've got Craig Senna down in Brussels at the moment, and you've also got Indecisive. Is he on the lead lap? He is. He's only just coming through turn 1, so there will be another full caution lap, at least one more, to allow Craig Senna and Indecisive to catch up. Yeah, TJW maybe throwing away a podium here with that wing damage. Sorry, Risky, you go.
Just looking at position changes, obviously the One Hub fantasy game built into the league, something I'm quite heavily part of, not necessarily running it, but I just enjoy being part of it, obviously leading it as well at the minute. TJW up 10 positions, meaning anybody that picked him in their team will get 10 points for this race unless he pits. Alex Lilliart with 9, so that's 9 points for anybody that picked him. And for the likes of people who pick drivers that don't move any positions or go down positions will not score points for that driver. So position changes as well, also a good thing. Just adds that little bit of extra sort of bonus for the one-hole drivers with a gift card on as a prize to the winner. Now, if I win that, I'll be quite lucky to say it's my first season, but there will be no complaints from myself.
There probably won't be, but yeah, as you mentioned, drivers up and down the field. Revan Daniels, is he trying to make a cheeky overtake on the safety car? You've got to be very careful. He's getting very close to the back of TJ. Does he know he's there? He's getting very close. I'd recommend drivers that want to stay, give the pack ahead, or at least the driver ahead, a car's length. They're very wide cars and long cars. These Formula 1 cars are, and Revan Daniels is getting really up the gearbox of TJW. Down 4 at the moment, our pole sitter, looking to get himself back onto pole position. But that's the thing with this fantasy league you mentioned. You've got to choose your drivers, obviously, before the race. Anyone who chose Revan Daniels probably didn't know he was going to get pole position, but if he wins, I assume there'll be a decent amount of points on offer. But at the moment, P5, but he's got 6 seconds of penalties to his name.
This is going to be a very close finish, I feel. Liam on those mediums has the pace, but does he have enough pace to beat Kingdron on fresh softs? Or will Alex Lilliart get the jump on Liam on his medium tyres? Will we even see the drivers behind, like TJW or even Reverend Daniels, come through the field? I feel like Kingdron might run away with this one, but don't count out anybody from this race.
I'm not going to discount Fozzie Bear either. He had that drive-through early on, recovered, and is in 8th at the moment. No penalties to his name either, so could guarantee himself an upgrade to P4 if he keeps it clean and stays within 3 seconds of Alex. Safety car looks to be going again as they head towards the bus stop. We don't want a late safety car call, as Indecisive has now made it up to the back of the field. We're going to do one more full caution lap. This makes anyone who chose soft tyres, gives them a little bit more of an advantage. One less green flag running lap to complete as we start lap 17. But yeah, drivers to watch out for. Obviously, if TJ hadn't... Oh, there's been a collision. What's happened? There's been a calamity in under safety car conditions. I was mentioning Reverend Daniels was getting a little bit too close to TJ. Any damage for Reverend, or was that just lag?
Damage-wise, none. Baza has 100% on his left side. So looking at the flux, we have Reverend Daniels got a 5-second for hitting TJ. Jake got a 5-second for hitting Baza, and Baza got one for hitting Jake. Baza being behind Jake, so Baza's gone into the back of Jake. I wonder if there's been
2 separate accidents. Yeah, maybe 2 separate accidents. Yeah. But yeah, as Reverend gets really close to the gearbox of TJ again, as you mentioned, no damage to Reverend. Very lucky boy for picking up a penalty and not getting damage. 2 drivers behind him and the driver in front have damage. So Reverend Daniels, don't discount him yet, but that 5-second may get disputed at the end. He will, if he pits, he'll serve it and more than likely won't get removed. He's trying to overtake. I'm not too sure what Reverend Daniels is doing. So as many to keep an eye on this and see what Reverend Daniels' thoughts were after the post-race, why he's keeping so close to the gearbox. I don't think you need to get the jump on a driver under safety car. You don't need to risk getting that close. As we've seen, 4 drivers getting penalties because of collisions. And TJ now, if he pits for that wing change, that'll add 6 seconds to wing change. It'll add 5 seconds, serving that 5-second stop go as well. will drop him to the back after a strong start. Safety car in this lap.
Now, Craig Senna, for me, still has a drive-through penalty.
He does. He got one under this safety car. He got it under this safety car. He'd already served one, and he ruined his chances of recovery in this final 5 or 6 laps with getting that second drive-through. But we're looking to go green flag running again. King Jen is leading the way nice and slowly through. Blanchard want to let the safety car pull away. 14 out of the 18 drivers that started are remaining, with only 6 drivers yet to get a penalty. Or was it 7? No, it's 6. King Jen then leading the drivers. He's going to try and take a Reverend Daniels tactic, take the wide line, get a better exit. Liam's already jumped one driver.
Jinxed it.
Off the start.
Jinxed it. The front 2 have 5-second penalties. So there must have been contact towards the bus stop as we get going again.
It didn't look like They did not look like any contact as we go green again. MCFC getting ahead of Indecisive on the restart. As Reverend's now up the inside of TJ. TJ with the damage. They're looking to go side by side towards Original Radion. Reverend Daniels does the sensible option and backs out on the run up Radion. Down the Camel Straight. This wing damage is not going to help TJW try and hold on the back of the top 3. Penalties to be undecided as Fozzie Bear loses a position to Waze towards Laycom. Fozzie Bear without a penalty could be looking at race victory if he keeps it nice and clean. He's got to start making some positions though instead of losing them. TJ though, it's just losing positions already. Down to 5th. Jake, his next challenger. That's an interesting line to watch. Pro, and you don't really want to be going side by side, as drivers will be understeering. But you can see the wing damage is affecting TJ so much through this middle sector. A lot of corners. Reverend Daniels now ahead of Alex onto the podium.
Back end lost. Which allowed Reverend Daniels through. It should be interesting now to see the pace of Reverend Daniels, to see if he can catch either Liam or King Jen. King Jen probably be able to pull 5 seconds on the likes of drivers behind, the likes of Fozzie Bear definitely. So penalties shouldn't be a massive thing for those top 2.
Oh, contact between... Sorry, Risky, there was contact as TJ looked to try and get into the pits. I'm sure it was Jake going side by side. There was contact, maybe even with his teammate Waze. That may go under the stewards for TJ to appeal because he got tapped and has lost a lot of positions on the exit of the bus stop.
Now that really has put TJ out of any sort of potential. Fozzie Bear though, looking without any penalties, if he keeps it this way, looking for a really, really solid result, maybe even podium position. She's got to get past Waze and Jake to not lose that amount of time.
He's looking very feisty as Fozzie Bear on the back of Waze. Waze all out of shape by the exit of Laycom. Closes the gap for Fozzie Bear. We are going to get DRS enabled in the next lap, I believe it will be. And that was where the drivers such as Jake, Waze and Fozzie Bear, this train of cars from P4 down to 8th, are going to get a nice DRS tow from the Haas. He's falling back a little bit, is Alex. Is his tyres struggling, or is it just because of the tyre compound difference?
He had a moment on the first green flag lap, but he's had a relatively clean lap so far. Just thinking tyre compound, the medium and the soft, both similar laps at this stage of the race. The softs will be a lot quicker. Liam is doing a stellar job to keep up with King Jen at the top, just showing his pace throughout this race. So, like I said at the start, don't count anybody out of this race. It's still anybody's race. These top 2 could come together, you never know. We've seen the leader crash already this time around as MCFC gets past Fozzie Bear, so that's not going to help Fozzie Bear with all his penalty worries, but if he stays this close to Alex Lilliot, a 4th place is definitely on the cards.
Yeah, I think Fozzie Bear will be happy with 4th place. He's tried to show that he can still fit in that Mercedes cockpit and pull the good results. They are leading the constructors and probably will continue to, unless Liam gets the win. That could make a flip side with Jess maybe getting her best finish of the season so far at the moment in P9. Could even get promoted up a few more positions if drivers such as Alex get more and more penalties. Alex now lost the position to Jake. Jake now going to have to use the advantage of the soft start, clawing in Liam on those 6-lap old mediums. In terms of tyre wear, all fairly even, but Reverend Daniels from the top 5 with the most worn tyres. Really hounding those fronts.
This race has become, from what looked like a solid win, to Liam now within that DRS of Kington. Kington has a penalty, Liam has the same penalty, Reverend Daniels behind has 11 seconds penalty, so that's position still up for grabs. I'm just wondering, has Liam got the pace on mediums? Because ERS wise, Kington has slightly more.
So, in terms of penalties, you see all the drivers up in front. Fastest lap, fastest man on track is Liam at the moment as we get a yellow flag in the bus stop. That is indecisive, having a little spin through Blanchemont, maybe. Having a little tussle. Waze and Alex going side by side. Waze wanting to get the move on these. Let me get these tyres up. Oh, there's contact between the two as they try to go side by side as Alex in the wall is round. He's in the wall. Waze in the walls again. And contact between the two. 2 laps to go as MCFC now up to 5th. Bozibert in 7th, still not out of a chance for a podium. There's going to be controversy with these 5-second penalties, maybe in the stewards at the end, maybe even some post-race penalties for a few drivers. Liam gets a track limit warning penalty that could cost him a few positions.
Could cost him victory as well. If he was to overtake Kington on the final lap, and Kington not get a penalty, that will cost him the lead of this race.
It's cost him the lead. Well, it's cost him the win on track. Well, it won't cost him the win on track. It'll cost him the win after the results. But at the moment, Liam's probably going to have to give it everything with 1 lap to go as they run towards the final couple of corners here in Spa. 21 laps are about to have been completed. 1 more to go, and it's not over yet for someone to snatch away this race a victory. And even the podiums are undecided at the moment. We could see a Mercedes 3-4 at the end based on penalties, but everyone's going to be pushing like hell leather in these final couple of laps. Fozzie Bear might want to keep his nose clean. He is going to leapfrog Waze, MCFC, Jake and Reverend. He's not going to get Liam unless Liam gets another 3 seconds. Then that could be a bit controversial whether Liam stays on the podium. 8 seconds is what a number of penalties he has. 3 is the gap. 3 seconds for MCFC as Fozzie gets by Waze with the assistance of DRS around the outside of the Alpha Tauri. Now it's going to have to use that clear air to try and read himself back towards a potential podium here for Fozzie Bear.
ERS helping him as well. He had a lot more than Waze did. Waze kind of couldn't really fight that one, so moved to the inside as much as he could. But Liam still not managed to make that move. He's fighting as hard as he can, pushing through this middle sector towards the final sector, as that's BXI round in sector 2.
Kuon has claimed the victim with the curb. He's probably pushing a little bit too much. He probably was seeing that his teammate behind was going to snatch a podium away from him. He's going to snatch a podium away from him regardless now. But what has that cost VXI MCFC in terms of points? He could have got a P4. Maybe he was pushing to get within that 5-second window of Liam. But here we go then. Kington, across the line, is your race winner here in Spa. Liam will hang on for P2 As they cross the lines, Jake will take third, but then Fozzie Bear in the Mercedes, keeping it clean, will snatch away the final podium provisionally, even if the 5 seconds of Jake and Reverends get removed. I think Fozzie Bear will still hold on to that podium. So we're going to cut it short here as the drivers finish. We're going to have Reverend in 5th. Waze comes in 6th. Demon with his best result of the season so far in 7th. We needed a couple of drivers of the days, one each. Mr. Sullivan.
Ooh. I'm gonna give it straight away to Fozzie Bear. He's been a bit quiet with him on stream. Had a bit of a low-key race, but he's gone through when it mattered. He's kept his nose clean, and you have to respect a driver that doesn't get any penalties, especially around a track like Spa. I said at the start, you've got to be consistent. For me, Fozzie Bear gets my driver of the day.
Do you have a question for Fozzie Bear regarding
Fozzie Bear?
Interview? Yeah, just a question.
For the yeah, okay.
There you asked that answer. So.
He thinks his form is consistent enough. Does he think he can win a race, if not multiple, towards the back end of this season?
Good question. So my driver of the day will go to Demon for a fantastic drive. He kept his nose clean as well. No penalties for Demon. He's up to 7th. It could have maybe had a few more positions if it'd been a little bit closer, but so Demon is my driver of the day, P18 to 7th. My question for him: a bit unlucky in the previous couple of rounds. Now that your form is starting to pick up, do you see another top 10 finish coming and more points paying positions? Let me run through the results for everyone. Kingjan takes a victory in the Williams with Liam running out the podium, the front row for P2. Fozzie Bear securing Risky's driver of the day and a podium. Jake W comes in 4th, Reverend Daniels 5th, Waze 6th. Side Demon, my driver of the day, in 7th. He got MCFC with a little spin, drops him down to 8th. For could have been a potential P4. Jess with I believe her best result of the season in P9 for 4th. Ferrari. TJW with that wing damage and contact towards the end of the Grand Prix gets 10th. Indecisive 11th. Spazza 12th. Alex Lilliot 13th. Craig Senna 14th with a DNF. Both Red Bulls failing to finish here in Spa. I assume you've got to get after your race, Risky. Thank you for joining me. You can leave if you want, but I will close out and say a few final words, unless you want to say something yourself. An
absolute pleasure with commentating with yourself and this tier, and as a now official reserve commentator, might be back in this tier in the future. So appreciate everyone that's raced, watched, and yourself, and I'll leave you with it to close the stream.
Thank you very much, Risky. Where are we racing next week? 14th of May sends us to round 5 for the Austrian Grand Prix for all 5 tiers. Be sure to check out the rest of the races happening this evening between the faster drivers fighting for victory around Belgium. Risky's off to his podium race. Be sure to check out that on either YouTube or Twitch. Got Pinnacle and Precision tier as well to check out later in the day. In terms of rounding out this stream, thank you all for watching. Be sure, as I said, to check out our Discord, our One Hub's Discord. Join our friendly service to keep all up to date with everything that's happening here at One Hub. Be sure to keep an eye out on that. I have been your commentator. Risky was my co-commentator for this evening. Be sure to check out our sponsors of Next Level Racing, Liam RBS, ERT, Vespertine, and Time to Print. Thank you all for watching, and I will speak to you all or see you all next week for Austria. Thanks and goodbye.